Well, hello and a very warm welcome to episode 5, the final episode of BA Fringe at the BA Summit Southern Africa. Has it really been 5 episodes? It's just flown by. And in fact, we're like a day and a half through 2 fantastic days at the conference. So much to take in. I think the biggest challenge has been to know which sessions to attend. But of course, one of the advantages to this virtual format is you don't have to attend all of them live. If you miss some of them, if you've got a diary clash, you can attend after the event as well. So do make the most of those recordings as well. So I'm sure you've also noticed that the BA Summit is a very, very social conference, as well as the stuff on the conference platform. And if you haven't yet explored the chat, the message forums and so forth, I'd highly recommend you do that. But as well as that, there's a lot happening on social media. So if you haven't yet sort of clocked on to social media and the conference hashtag, which is hashtag BA Summit SA, I'd highly recommend you take a look at that. There's some really, really interesting stuff being shared. And if you're watching this and you're not at the conference, be sure to take a look at that hashtag as well. Now, if you are at the conference, there's an even greater incentive to get sharing with that hashtag, because there is a competition. A common thread throughout the BA Fringe at BA Summit streams has been that actually you can win a free ticket to the BA Summit Southern Africa 2021. Imagine not having to put that spend request together to get management authorization to be guaranteed a ticket. Well, all you need to do is get your social media gloat on and gloat about the fun you're having, or your biggest takeaway, or your favorite conference moment. Maybe share it with a photo, or a PDF of some notes you've taken, or whatever. Try and get some of that learning beyond the conference itself. Shortly after the conference closes, so this competition continues right until the conference closes, we will choose one lucky winner. And every tweet or LinkedIn update with the conference hashtag counts as an entry. So even more of an incentive for you to get involved with social media. So we have 2 fantastic topics during this episode. We're going to start in just a moment with a bit of a preview of a session that's coming up later on agility. And I know agility and being agile as a BA is really, really important. So we've got a short, sneak peek of a session that's coming up later, and that might help you choose, which one to attend. And after that, we've got a fantastic live panel session. We're sort of going to be closing BA Fringe at BA Summit SA by talking about how we can be the best BAs that we can possibly be. So, sort of keep your eye out for that as well. Just before we move on to that though, I do want to just give one quick shout out. We will be checking shout outs, by the way, right till the very end of the episode. So if you do want to get your shout out read out live on air, all you need to do is go to basummit.live. There's a short form there, type your details in, and we will read as many as we possibly can. So this shout out goes to Olu, who says, thanks to all the great presenters and speakers and panelists that have graced the BA Summit this year. It's been an exciting few hours and days for me, and there are always lots of takeaways. Grant's visual thinking technique, Edward's call for BAs to clap their agile wings, Ryan's ask that we go lean and mean, and Paul Ben's abstract thinking canvas are only some of these. I also hope to continue to engage with attendees on LinkedIn on the subject of my presentation, gamification, a Swiss Army knife to be used deliberately and carefully. Ciao. So fantastic, thanks Olu, and great idea for us all to keep talking about these topics on LinkedIn. So we'll move swiftly on to our first item. Have you ever wondered about how to be agile as a BA? Well, at 2:40 today, Bola Adescope is going to be giving a presentation entitled Be Agile, the Business and The Analyst. And he agreed to give us just a little sneak peek of what's coming up. So Bola, over to you.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day from all over the world, wherever it is that you're joining from. My name is Bola Adescope. I'm a business and agile transformation consultant. I'm a speaker. I'm a trainer. I'm a coach. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, and I am looking forward to the Business Analysis Summit Southern Africa 2020 because I'm going to be presenting. I'm going to be presenting on a very important, very critical topic that I have called Be Agile, the Business and The Analyst. I'm sure a lot of people understand, or a lot of people have heard agile one way or the other before. I am also sure that a lot of people will tell you that they are currently practicing agile. But the question is, are they getting the expected benefit? Are they realizing the expected benefit from being agile, or from practicing agile, or from adopting agile? Well, I don't know. And that's why I have decided to make this presentation at the Southern African Business Analysis Summit 2020. We're going to start my presentation. I'll give you a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about in my presentation. So we're going to start my presentation by looking at organizations. And we've divided those organizations into two. Organizations that used to exist before but are no more, and some organizations that used to exist before and are still existing and are blazing the trail. And we're going to look at the differences between those organizations. One of the things that we're going to be looking at is the changes in the world that we live in. Everybody understands now that the world that we live in has changed. Those who don't understand that it has changed can understand that the world is changing. And as a result of that change, we as organizations, we as professionals, we as individuals need to change. If we don't respond to the change, or if we don't sense the change, we will cease to exist. So we're going to start my presentation by looking at what I titled the VUCA world: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Those are the things that characterize the world that we currently live in right now. And we will not be able to succeed in this kind of world using the old method, using the old approach or the old strategy. Also in my presentation, because it's called Be Agile, I'm going to try to explain to you during the presentation what agile really means. See, I speak to people, I do a lot of coaching with organizations, teams, and individuals, and people say, oh, we know what agile is and all of that. But by the time you hear them speak, you will find some gap in their understanding. So we're going to go back to the basics from during my presentation, and we're going to look at the core things that make agile what agile is. Also, we're going to look at the difference between being agile and doing agile during my presentation. So if you're interested in that, you don't want to miss the presentation. Also during my presentation, I'm going to look at agile transformation or business agility or embracing agility. And we're going to look at the 5 to 6 critical things that every organization needs to focus on when adopting agility, when embracing agility. These are the 5 to 6 things that they need to focus on to be able to fully adopt or embrace business agility. Also during my presentation, I'm going to share with you an interesting case study, an agile transformation case study. This was an experiment. This was an organization that I worked with. This was a transformation project that I was involved in. So we're going to look at sort of the step-by-step processes that we followed in transforming the organization. We're going to share some of the benefits, some of the challenges and all. And then lastly, I'm going to end my presentation by x-raying the importance, the values, the strategic importance that business analysis function has in agile transformation. I've seen organizations run agile transformation without factoring in business analysis function, not just a business analyst, but the business analysis function. And those organizations have not realized the expected benefit from their investment because they omitted the function of business analysis. And in my case study, I'm going to show you how business analysis was at the core of that transformation. And then lastly, we're going to have some activities or some fun. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to share a lot of ideas, a lot of thought leadership, insight on how the business analysis function is strategic to agile transformation or to organization embracing agility. I look forward to having you at the presentation. It's on the 5th and the 6th of October 2020. My session is going to be on the 6th of October 2020. At the end of my session, if you attend my session, at the end of my session, you will have an understanding of what really Agile is. You will also be able to help your organization move from just doing Agile to being Agile. And lastly, if your organization is just starting their transformation, you're going to be able to help them to identify the steps, the things that they need to watch out for, and the things that they need to focus to be able to successfully embrace agility and to be able to deliver better values to the stakeholders, their customers, and their employees. I look forward to having you in the presentation on the 6th of October 2020. Thank you and see you.
Fantastic. So some really, really interesting ideas there, interesting insight into that session, which is taking place at 2:40 today. So if you can't attend it live, if you've got a diary clash, you might want to make a note to yourself to go back and and take a look at Bola's session a little bit later on. But that moves us very, very neatly into our next section. I'm really pleased to say that we've got 4 very, very distinguished guests to talk with us about how we can be the best BAs that we possibly can be. You know, if you think about the focus of this BA Summit, a lot of it is about learning, it's about adapting, it's about being agile and having agility, not just in our organizations, but as practitioners as well. So we have 4 fantastic guests joining us. We have Edward Ngubane, who is Head of Business Analysis at DVT. We have Joe Newbert, who is Chief Training Officer at Business Change Academy. Christina Lovelock, who's a BA leader and author, including a co-author of the Delivering Business Analysis book, which is very, very, very well worth reading. And Lalitha Moodley, who is Senior Business Analyst at Gembe Health Systems. So Edward, Joe, Tina and Lalitha, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Adrian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Thanks for having us.
Excellent, excellent. So, our topic today is really about becoming the best BA we can be. And where I wanted to start is, I think when talking about being better, we often focus on developing new skills. But before we get onto that, I was wondering, are there any habits, behaviours or techniques that you feel we might need to leave behind in order to to become better BAs? So I'm going to randomly pick on Tina with that one. Tina, any thoughts on habits or behaviours we might need to leave behind?
I think one thing that BAs need to be prepared to leave behind is our subject matter knowledge. So to be able to truly move on to a new project, a new system or product, you have to be prepared to walk away from all the knowledge that you've built up on your previous project. And where BAs aren't prepared to walk away from that knowledge, they become intrinsically linked to that product, and they find it more difficult to move on to the next project. They keep getting pulled back and their subject matter knowledge keeps getting used rather than their business analysis skills. Yeah,
I saw an article on LinkedIn, I think it was by Zara Sheldrake, where she was talking about the links between ethnography and business analysis, and she was talking about the danger of going native. And it sounds like that's almost like going native, isn't it? You become an SME, and you more SME than BA perhaps. Fantastic. So, Lalitha, any thoughts about stuff we might need to leave behind?
Yeah, so mine was similar to what Christina has just mentioned, and it was about leaving our egos behind. A lot of times, especially if you come from the business, you come with a lot of knowledge, and we automatically tend to think that we know it all, and we then become more biased with our knowledge. So it's almost like going back to beginner's mindset, as if you have no knowledge and then start from scratch.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the tools that we need to use.
Fantastic. So leaving the ego behind and having that curiosity, so that we ask the questions rather than assume. So Edward, what would you add to that?
it's natural for us as human beings to be defensive and territorial. In our line of work, we we get we are in the firing line, so it's quite important to be less defensive and understand where the other person is coming from, understand their point of view, their point of faith. Because if we don't, then we stick to our position, and we hold on to our position, and we don't succeed as people.
Yeah. So understanding different perspectives and empathizing, and that sort of very, very human element there. So Joe, I mean, we've heard some great contributions there about perspectives, about leaving our ego at the door, about not that balance of not having too much knowledge in the subject matter. Anything? It's always hard being asked last on a panel, but anything you would add?
Yeah, no, I mean, those are some great observations. And I think the only thing I can add to the tail of that really is perhaps to leave behind worry and concern. I think those are two things we often take with us as BAs. We can be quite fearful about really going out there to show some of our might. So if we can put the worry and the concern behind us and just go forward and try and make a difference, I think that'd be a great attitude to have.
Yeah, well, I suppose that in some way, Joe, links to the idea of sort of leaving the ego behind and having that curiosity. Is actually maybe if we leave some of that baggage behind, then the worry dissipates. Do you think that might be true?
I think it is true. I think often we just put that worry at the forefront. It's like we have this little fear before we go away and perhaps work on something. So if we can, as you say, drop those other things like the ego, then yes, I think that's just automatically displaced.
Mm-hmm. So, Joe, what would you say? Because there's quite a lot of debate over the relative merit of like hard analysis type skills and soft, what we might call interpersonal skills. And I know, right, like the typical BA answer would be it depends, and that's probably the only answer there is. But if you were to say what separates a good from a great BA in general, would you say it's the analysis, the hard skills, or is it the interpersonal type skills?
So how about both rather than it depends? And your question, you ask good to great, but if I can first offer perhaps a line between bad and good, and something I think that's there is whole brain thinking. And by that I mean we engaging our left and our right brains. So taking that knowledge, the data, our typical left brain thinking, the aspects that we're known for, the things that were exemplified in the information age, and elaborating on those with right brain creativity, because I think this conceptual age is asking for a bit more imagination, innovation, and vision. And we've sort of been leaning to one side until this point, I think, sort of weighed down by some of that left brain thinking. And I think we need to start standing up straight now to solve some problems with the whole mind. So not just analysis, but also some synthesis too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for moving to answer your question around moving from good to great, I think empathy is standing out for me right now. So really the ability to appreciate what our stakeholder is experiencing, from their perspective, to understand their position. So perhaps by listening with their ears, seeing with their eyes, and even trying with their hands, and feeling with their hearts. So not being that, that they're there, never mind, BA, make it better, but really trying to explore their desires and beliefs. I think that whole brain thinking and empathy are going to be the key things, Adrian.
Definitely. So whole brain thinking, empathy, feeling it, seeing it, hearing it. I mean, Lalitha, would you add anything to that over the sort of soft, hard skill debate?
I tend to go more towards the soft skills. The hard skills you can study and you can learn it. The soft skills are something that you've got to practice all the time. And understanding from your stakeholders' point of view makes it a lot easier to get their buy-in and also to get information from them. Definitely working on the soft skills is a great tool, and you're building those relationships not just with your customers but with your internal and external stakeholders.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Can I just build on what Lalitha said there, Adrian?
Yeah, please do.
It's that it doesn't matter how good at modeling processes you are if nobody wants to work with you.
Yeah.
I think that is a really important thing for BAs to learn, because we can get very distracted by our tool set and thinking about how we do business analysis, or the techniques and tools that we use to do business analysis. I think we need to open our minds to the collaboration that is absolutely core to business analysis.
Yeah, that's a really great point, that actually we can be the best use case writer, user story writer in the world. If no one wants to work with us, then we've got a problem. So fantastic. Edward, would you add anything to that?
Absolutely. What we do is about people. So it's a people's business. We must remember that we deliver through others. So it's quite important that we are able to engage, we are able to influence, we are able to negotiate, we are able to be out there. If you are not willing, or if you're not comfortable being out there talking to people, engaging with people, then you're going to struggle as a business analyst. Like my colleagues have said, irrespective of how good your technical skills are, your modeling skills, but our line of work puts us right there in the middle. We are those people that are talking to everyone. So it's quite important that you are comfortable with that. You get out of your comfort zone if you are an introvert, for an example.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm an introvert.
Yeah, me too.
But people don't believe me because I'm always talking. But it's because of my work. I realize that for me to succeed as a PA, I need to step out of my comfort zone and be out there.
I think that's a really important point, Edward, and I'm really pleased that you raised it, because although we need to be comfortable working with people and empathizing with people, that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to exhibit the traits of an extrovert. Because I was smiling when you said you're an introvert. I'm an introvert. I know other BAs are introverted too. So it's not about the character trait, but as you say, Edward, taking ourselves perhaps out of our comfort zone. So Edward, if you were to think about top tips you have for a BA, or whether it's a BA, a senior BA, they're looking to really hone their craft to be the best that they can be, could you share maybe one or two tips on how people can develop?
Absolutely. The desire to continuously improve and learn, the desire to continually upskill yourself. What we're doing, like I said yesterday when I was talking, to the delegates, what we're doing here is exactly that. We're upskilling ourselves. There's no point where you know it all. So as a business analyst, you must always be willing to learn, and you must also come in with an approach that I don't know as much, so teach me, show me, ask questions, be willing to be a fool, be willing to make mistakes, be willing to have other people correct you, because if you go in thinking you know everything, then that's the biggest problem. So you're not going to go as a PA. You need, because everyone will work with intelligent people. Let's be honest. The people that are surround us are highly intelligent. So we need to realize that there's more that we can learn from them. Yeah. As much as we have something to give, they have a lot to give in return.
Yeah. So that again, that curiosity, that humbleness, that hunger for learning is really coming through. Lalitha, would you add anything to that about tips for us as BAs to develop and learn?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things is that no job or task is too small or menial. Be it taking notes, running around getting signatures, helping people. Every task that you take on needs to be an opportunity to learn, whether it means improving your existing skills, learning new skills, or building relationships. You need to take every chance that you get and grow with it.
Yeah,
that's the best thing that you can do.
It's interesting. I did some work with an organization a while back where everyone in the organization was required to do essentially, I think it was a week in the contact center, the call center every year. And I thought that was a great approach. And this was everyone, whether you're a BA or upper manager. And I just thought, what a great way of actually empathizing with what customers actually, the processes that customers actually go through. And so by keeping in mind that we might be doing something that's perhaps outside of business analysis, but we can learn from it, we can develop, we can blur the edges a little bit. That's a really great idea. So Tina, anything you'd add in terms of developing as BAs?
There's two things I'd probably mention. The first is concentrate on developing your strengths. I think that is the thing that's going to help you differentiate yourself, really building on and investing in the areas that you're already good at and interested in. And the second thing is related to that, which is learn the things that you're motivated to learn about. Don't try and learn about things because you think they're fashionable or the people around you are interested in them. You're going to succeed by learning about the things that are most interesting to you.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Often if something is interesting, learning doesn't feel like a chore. It can, it can feel like a sort of an extension of fun type of thing.
I totally agree.
So Joe, what would you add to the debate around learning and progressing as BAs?
I think for me, the one important thing, the thing that really actually makes a difference is to show up and have a go, right? That big hairy idea you have, that thing you want to do, that project you perhaps want to work on, that talk you want to give, that blog you want to write, whatever it is, go for it, right? Because every goal is a stretch goal, because if it's not stretching us, then it wouldn't be a goal. And the world's a forgiving place, but it's not waiting for us. So I think we need to show up and have a go.
Yeah, I love that. Show up, have a go, be bold, be prepared to experiment. Fantastic. Well, I know, folks, we could go on talking about this for hours, but time is against us. So I'm just going to ask you each for two final questions combined into one. And I'm going to give you like 20 or 30 seconds each to answer this, which is a real challenge. The first question is, what's your biggest takeaway from the conference? And the second is, how can people stay in touch with you? So whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever. So Joe, your biggest takeaway from the conference so far, and how can people stay in touch?
Biggest takeaway, South African BA community rocks, the international BA community rocks, continuous intentional learning, and find an audience to help. And you can find me over on LinkedIn.
Fantastic, excellent. Yeah, definitely the community in South Africa rocks, and great to be connected with the international community. So Lalitha, what's your biggest takeaway and how can people stay in touch with you?
I think my biggest takeaway is that we didn't need to worry about COVID. Virtual didn't take away anything from the summit. I think we really rocked it. We did well on this. So hats off to everybody that was involved, from the panelists to the speakers, to all those behind the scenes, because I think this was already a success from the opening talk. And it's been well received. We've had interactions with people from across the world, and the world's a lot smaller than we think. And I think we can learn from every interaction that we have. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, most social medias.
Fantastic, most social medias, excellent. And Edward, same question to you.
Yeah, for me I'm always amazed by how much insights you get by listening to other people. You're never at a point where you, like I said, you know everything. And for me, learning without insight is not learning. Is that's when you just memorize stuff. The minute you learn is when you start connecting the dots. That's where insight happens. So it's been a great 2 days for me as a person, and I think for the delegates as well. It's been a great 2 days. So I'm glad that we actually went virtual, in spite of all the uncertainties. Here we are. I can be contacted on LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. People can search for Edward Ngubane. They'll find me there.
Fantastic. And last but by no means least, Tina, same question to you.
I've been really inspired by the attitude to learning and continuous professional development that I've seen across the conference from the speakers and the delegates, and such a humble attitude that nobody's holding themselves up as an expert, but everybody's saying that we're here to learn from each other. And I've just found that really brilliant experience. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I also write articles for the BA Times. So those are ways people can keep in touch.
Fantastic. Well, Tina, Edward, Joe, Lalitha, thank you so much for taking time out. I will let you go now and grab some lunch, and I shall see you around the rest of the conference. So thanks, and bye for now.
Thanks,
Bye,
Adrian.
everyone. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
So some really fantastic insights there from our panel, and you know, if I was listening to this, if I was tuning in live, I'd be making notes. There's so much to unpick there. So, well, the final thing to say really is a massive thank you to you for tuning in, for indulging us with this experimental format that is the BA Fringe. One thing to say just very briefly is, if you have enjoyed the BA Fringe at BA Summit SA, it isn't ending forever. So although the BA Summit will be over in half a day's time, actually BA Fringe is going to continue monthly. And it's going to continue monthly in the evening. It will be an hour-long show at 7:30 South African time, that's 6:30 UK time, towards the end of the month. If you go to our website, blackmetric.com, and click on events, you'll see when the next one is and you can register. Also check out our YouTube channel, because there have been a couple of other ones as well which you can tune into. I also wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been a panelist, who's prepared a video for us. You know, these are folks who have taken time out of their day to help us create content to put out there for you at the conference and for the, you know, on YouTube more generally. So a massive thank you to everyone who's spoken and has been involved, and apologies for the plethora of emails I've been sending you over the last few weeks to get ready for the interviews, the videos, and so on. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to everyone involved with running the conference. Having been involved in organising events myself to an extent, I know that nothing happens accidentally at an event. Well, if it does, it's normally a problem. So everything from the conference platform to the PDFs, everything someone has had to prepare. So, you know, please do thank the folks that have been creating that for you, because it really is a significant effort. And finally, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone who has helped make the BA Fringe happen. Believe it or not, it started as an idea on a scrap of paper, and then within 2 weeks we had a functioning broadcast sort of live streaming studio. I know you only see me on this side of the camera. It isn't just me, there's a whole plethora of stuff that needs to happen. But I would like to say a particular thank you to Matt, who you won't be able to see, but he has been producing, doing all the technical wizardry that I don't understand. Give him a wave, Matt. Go on. I know you're camera shy, but you can. There's Matt waving to you there. So thank you all. That really does end the final BA Fringe at BA Summit Southern Africa. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Stay active on social media, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere virtually and hopefully in the real world very, very soon. Stay safe and see you next time.